Hey folks, yeah, as always, either playing a game or trying to make a game. But first, let's see if we can figure out why my camera's being jank. Um, I know, at least on some level, there's something I may need to just reinstall Windows sometime because even like my video player was acting up. It's very weird. Yeah, it seems like this thing. Hopefully it's not attached there. No. Go on back. We'll give it one more try. Truly, this camera setup is the Dark Souls of camera setups. Yeah? Well, what if I do this? Give it down. Weird. Okay, well, what I was thinking about doing today, we did a few things, again, while not streaming. Went through, set up a few things. One, we'll see how well I do this, but yeah, I got a button set up now for swapping between the two. But yeah, so we've got a set of all of our data loaders, our connectors, and then once those are finished, it'll fire off the on-game loaded event. I've been going through on my tablet and drawing out the sequence that things happen in so that we can look on it and see if there's anywhere that I'm forgetting something. So far, no, but inevitably there'll be something. All right, so we'll save that. And then from there, now you can get back to places faster than I can. I'm hoping that if I do this button system and move slower, maybe I'll break Unity less, but time will tell, you know? Right, so the next stage I was thinking was going to be perhaps finishing up the adventure quote-unquote completer, but realistically it's already done. Let me show you that real quick. So this code right here where we were kind of messing around with rewards and stuff, that's not actually finished. And so that's bad, I would say bad juju to be jumping, one second, let me fix that song. Jumping ahead to adding in things that don't quite exist yet, at least not in a tangible fashion that I like. But it will be coming soon. But I figured what would be more beneficial today is to make a few user interfaces, because then we can, similar to the demo mode. Let's see here. Let's go back to that. 2D. That's why I don't like overlays. But when you're making UI menus, like something that really helps a lot, even though it's sort of like it doesn't really matter, but for whatever reason, adding a splash of color really brings things out. So I'm just doing that real quick, and we're gonna do something similar when we go to make this little, look at these pastels, when we go to do the rest of this setup. Because yeah, now when you look at it, that's a, let's see if we can get that a little, yeah, there it is. So now when we look at that UI, which is not actually showing at the moment, let's see why. Is the canvas off? No, the canvas is on. Scaling with screen. We're at full HD. Let's see here. Go look at the scene. Set to overlay correctly. Pixel perfect. Sort order is fine. The camera is... yeah, it's fine. Looking at everything. Oh, we were zoomed too far in. Okay. But yeah, so we look at that, and it has a nice little pizzazz to it. And I think that sort of stuff will help. So we can look through here, and we're going to make the UI inside of the mansion scene for now, and it may move at a future date. We are going to give it its own section, as before, just for easier tracking. But beyond that, we don't really know. We're going to start from the top and kind of work down. The first thing that we need, which I guess we already have over here for now, is the mode changing. But following that, we have the room builder, which happens based off the raycaster. But there's something about the raycaster that we are not yet doing, and that would be showing off a list of all of the available rooms that you have access to, and picking, if we're deciding to do it that way, picking one of those and placing it. That requires more, let's see, when we think about rooms, we got the mansions. We currently track the just about nothing really. We currently track what the player has got in their home, but we don't actually have a catalog of all of the rooms that exist. So with that in mind, I think what we need to do is make a catalog abstract, some sort of catalog base that then other classes can inherit from, so that as we build code that'll read into these catalogs, it'll know that certain functions always exist. I know interfaces are really popular. My one problem with them is that if you want to do an inspector window so that you can add things to, say, a list or an array, you can't make a private list of some sort of interface. At least I don't think that works. Maybe they've made it work in 2020. So let's find out real quick. Test interface. Let me open that up. And then we're going to make this an interface. Lowercase I? Or is that uppercase I? Oh, lowercase. Oh, sorry, my brain not all here tonight apparently. Public interface, test interface, and we'll say public int value. Whoops. And I forget, it's gonna require me. Interface cannot contain instance fields. That's fair. Public void start or test. Let's go test. There you go. And that should work. I usually do abstract, so this is throwing me off a little bit. Although I don't even know if I could have done the variable thing in an abstract, so we'll just act like that was all intentional. Part of the adventure. I think you could do public int value get set. I think that works. Yeah, okay, so that's what I forgot to do there. But, you know, sometimes you don't touch this stuff for months or years and you forget. That's the whole point of just remembering, going back to Google or whatever. It's not a big deal. So from there, let's make a inside of our, I'm just gonna say the init class once I can get back to it. We're gonna go into that and just real quick make a private list of test interface, test interfaces equals new. Why has it got audio listener there? Oh, I know exactly why it does. Okay, we'll just do that. It had that because I don't have system.collections on here. And we'll serialize that. And if we come back to this window, we'll see that we can't see it. But if we were to go back into the code and make this a public abstract class test interface, public, what was I doing for Sure. All right, so if we then go in and check our initializer, so now this is a class instead of an array of interfaces. And when we go and look, I don't actually know if this will work. I haven't tried. Is serialized. Maybe abstracts won't work either, actually, because when I look here, I don't see it. But these are... Oh, it's because they're abstract classes based off mono behavior, right. So I don't think interfaces would work the same way. That should throw an error. Yeah, but abstract class, that doesn't. And then if we save that, if we save that right here and go back into the window, you'll see before me, but yeah, now we have this window that we can add classes to. So yeah, we'll be doing abstract classes. So what we were talking about was a public abstract class catalog. Now, this catalog could very well be a scriptable object because it doesn't need to be in the scene to work. It's just a big data structure. And with that in mind, we would want a catalog. Can I do... I don't actually know if this will allow me. Cool, it does. Where T1... What is that formatting? I always forget. I have to like remind myself anytime I... We'll just go this way. Go into the loader. Ah! That's fine. We're getting there. We're getting there, team. Alright, colon. Where T1? What am I forgetting? Forgetting to close classes is what I'm forgetting. Pin me. Sorry, let me close some of this stuff. Clearly, I was doing a lot. I finally got unit tests working again, by the way. I just forgot to put my project in a project folder so that I could then consolidate stuff. And I'll have you know, all my unit tests pass. All but one did initially, and I thought it was a mistake in my unit tests. I went back and checked the function. Turned out, nope, I just wrote the function wrong. So, you know, unit test passed the job. It did what it was supposed to do. And, I guess that's the whole point. Don't need you either. And we actually don't need this. But, you know. Loader, where? T1. Be-do-be-do-be-do. And we'd actually want T1 to be scriptable object. Yeah, because we want it to be all of the different objects for that particular style of thing. So like room scriptable objects, or it wouldn't be room data, it would be... Oh, actually, that is really interesting now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, this is what I was looking at just now. Let us go back and look at... So this is our room prefab, and that is stored in... Great question. Let's go look. Because when we generate our rooms and instantiate them, we get that prefab. We can figure that out through the room builder, right? So the room builder, we go in here. We have it currently in game data. So in game data, we just have our prefab in there. And that prefab is just a room. So it'll be like a room catalog and so on. Or rooms catalog. And now that I think about that, we will grab this line and close this. Get in here, delete that test interface we had. Create a folder for catalogs, which is a fun word anyways. And then we'll make the base class. And then a catalog will always have a serialized private T1. Will let me do that? It will. Do I want to use the word entities? What do I want to use? You know what? We'll go with that, I guess. No, because that's actually got a... That has a loaded meaning. You know what? Let's go with products. I think that's fun. Even if that's a little bit awkward once we get to the cats themselves, but I guess if a store is selling pets, that they are a product, as weird as that is. All right. So that will mean that when we make our room catalog, which we will, that's what we just did here, which we will do. Let me close, get some stuff out of the way. It'll make it a lot easier for me to tell when I'm on the right window with y'all. Dollars to donuts. I probably have that camera hooked up to the wrong port. But anyways, so now that we've made that, let's go back to the scene. And we'll create a new class. It'll be room catalog. And up here, it's of type catalog, and this is room. And then, let's see, can I just generate the stuff here? It's complaining that we have not... Oh, right. So, a room is just a mono behavior. So we don't want it to be type scriptural object. We want it to be type... Well, now we gotta think for a moment here. Because if we just make it classes, we can instantiate the stuff. And the data that's on them... Yeah, okay. So here's my logic. The data that will be on a room or a Moosecat or anything like that is... everything you need to instantiate it, and if we're going to be using these on UI and spawning them in the scene and all that other stuff, that's the data we need. So we'll go with that. Oh, we saved, didn't we? Yeah, we saved on the wrong one. My bad. All right, so that's good. And then now, if we go in to the, so here's what we did. If we go, it's not very much. If we go into the scene, catalog itself is a scriptural object. Good. So that means that we need to add in the create asset menu line, because our work is never done. Okay, so that's good. We'll go back into Visual Studio. What did we mess up here? Oh. Got rid of that. There was a line there. Sorry about that. Okay, so right click, create, catalogs, rooms. Why is the name Room Catalog MS? Oh, did I fail on my copy pasting? Wow. All right then. Well, that's a thing, if nothing else. Okay, so our room catalog currently just has this one in it. And, it's about all it really needs for now. But if we were to go back to our game data, from in here, we could replace the room prefab line with room catalog. And now this has got a couple references we need to fix. Oh. Oh, whoops. We need to fix a little bit more. My bad. Okay, that takes care of that. This gets truncated to that. And then we'll go back to our references. Second one. Okay. And that should all work. We just need to assign it, which we've now done. Hit save. Press play. Hey, everything still works. That's what I'm talking about. So now we'll do the same for the Moosecats. So we need to first create a class. Moosecat catalog. Oh, heavens to Betsy, why did you go in this window? You didn't see that, but it took me to Visual Studio. It's very weird. And similar to our previous work, we can just go over here, grab this line, Moosecat catalog. We can clear out all this code again, because we don't actually have any unified stuff we need them to do right now. But moving forward, you could imagine something like a get function. So public void, or sorry, public t1 get return t1 kind of thing. And obviously that doesn't work, but return null by default. Will that work? Yes. Okay. So you could imagine this function, right? And then on these guys, we would want to override it. So is this supposed to be... Hold on. My brain is sensing a disturbance. I forgot a particular word here. That's why I was getting confused. So you can imagine, there we go, some kind of get function in each of your catalogs that obviously is going to return the thing that goes there, but there may be some different initialization code that you need to write for each one. And what this allows us to do later, we'll just leave it as not implemented. What this allows us to do later is that if we hook into these catalogs to find those particular cats or particular rooms, which eventually that'll be what will happen. We will actually hide this. We won't have a public one at all. I think it'd be protected or internal, something like that. We'll double check later. But yeah, so then you would go through these functions to grab the object. You would know once you get it that it's initialized. You'd know that it's got all the proper settings. You'd know it's been, I don't know, added to some event list or something. So that's what we're working with there. So then this needs to be changed. And you'll notice right there, for instance, that it was sort of enforcing the type rules. And that's another benefit to abstract classes or interfaces, stuff like that. So now we can go back to the code. And we know what we were changing. And we actually don't go back to the code for very long. We know what we were changing is the game data. Go cut this off. And this will get renamed. And this one will get renamed. And then we'll go see what we broke. Not much. There you go. So now that'll all work too. Those can be together. I am not so against code touching sometimes. Now we need to check game data once again. We haven't generated the catalog yet. So we'll go into catalogs, Moosecats. And then we need to add. We know we have one because we've been physically watching the cats be spawned. So then that's going to be in the Moosecats folder, prefabs, and it's this one right here. So we'll go up to the catalog. Boom. Awesome. So now when we hit play, we should expect the loading sequence to work. And it does. So the rooms load, the cats load, and now we have these catalogs. So you might be saying to yourself, okay, cool. What's the benefit to these things? Well, we can start building a UI. And with that UI, for like selecting, let's say we want to have a UI that just literally does a grid of each of the types of cats that exist. Maybe for a journal or something, we now have this scriptable object that we can just drop on the thing. We could have also used game data, but I like to try and section off things as much as I can. That way, over time, things only have the data they need to access and not all the data. Because if you have all the data on everything all the time, there's a pretty good chance, and I'm guilty of this brutally, there's a pretty good chance that you will have one thing do too many things. And then it'll be very difficult to fix things later, add things later. I'm sure there's some stuff in here that already does probably too much. While the hierarchy could definitely be cleaned up, I think overall it's fine. And obviously some of this will move around over time. It's possible that things like the adventures will move off into their own scene, and so on. But we'll see. You build it first, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't, and then go from there. And overall, as I've been working, I have been finding there's things I like and things I don't like, and that to me is part of the fun, really. Just working and seeing what you can make. So with that in mind, let's start by making our first UI, and this one is going to be, we talked earlier about a room builder, so we need some kind of window where you could click on the rooms that it shows in a list, or in a grid rather, and it will build, it'll set that room to the current room, and then you'll be allowed to build it by pressing somewhere on the scene. Now there's a couple things we'll come across in a moment here while we work on that, but first things first, we might as well make a canvas for it. Wow, that was lagging. Canvas for it, and that canvas will go into mansion, please. We're gonna make it a screen space camera, attach it to the main camera, zoom back into where it is. I'm gonna actually hide the debug canvas for now, and let's see here. I feel like that's not the right size, but I suppose we'll find out. Let's make a button. We're zoomed out. Is it the... No, it's not the distance. Something about this canvas looks real weird to me. 2D, please. Turn on gizmos. Ah, okay. I kind of forgot about the fact that the camera is pointing down at an angle. Yeah, that'll do it. Let me think about that for a moment. We'll make it an overlay canvas. So this is room selection. Wow, what is causing this to be so slow right now? Very weird. I actually open up my task manager and see if I see anything. No? Big old lot of nothing. Okay. So now we've got our canvas. The first thing we probably want to do is put up a raycast blocker. The input blocker? We can do it with an image. Square, where are you, Square? I'm looking for the squariest square here. Does anyone fit the bill? Honestly, no. How do I not have whatever is needed for squares? Oh, we don't have plastic on this project, and that's where those squares were. That's fine. It's not quite the right size or shape, but this will work. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to fill up the scene. And this is a temporary solution, but the idea here is you shouldn't be able to click through to the scene. So like if we leave this on and we set, well, we'll turn it off real quick and set the the game to building. So now we can build. Now in theory, oh, it is still letting me build. Interesting. So I guess I will just need to fix the, is it because it's an overlay and not screen space camera? Well, I guess we'll figure it out later. Not a big deal. So we'll get rid of that because clearly it's not going to do what I thought it would. I think it's because it's set as an overlay right now. But let's see here. Do we want this to scale? Probably 1920 by 1080, since that's still the most common resolution of screens right now. I'll be curious to see how long that lasts. Probably a very long time if the price of stuff keeps being so wonky. Okay. So what we need is some kind of... For the rooms, what I'm trying to think of is if I want to do some kind of camera off screen that is looking at the 3D rooms so that you can rotate them and stuff while you're selecting. Or if I just want to start off with a simple image of the room, just a static picture of them. Because obviously the time that you need to take to do it is considerably different. For now, we will create some kind of backdrop. Could have just used that square that I had earlier. In fact, I kind of forgot that the default square is just that, a square. Let's see here. We'll go 0, 0, 0, 0. We'll move in 100. Because everybody likes some padding. That's how I really quickly do that stuff, so I don't have to do math. Backdrop. We'll give it a nice color of some kind. Yeah, okay. So that's our backdrop, and then from there, we're gonna want to have a grid layout group. And you won't believe what's going in here. Okay, maybe you will. Whoa! There you go. Start corner, upper left sounds good. Horizontal sounds good. And then from there, we can create initially an image room cell is what we'll call it. And we need to do a bit of logistics here. So that doesn't seem quite big enough. Also, that. Should be good. So you can imagine, and we'll just do this real quick. We'd probably want 2 sets of cells to a section. So with that in mind, let's see, 512 is too big. 364 is too big unless... Let's do it like that real quick. 32, 32, 32, 32. Okay, so we wouldn't want to do 32 off the bottom. So 16, 16. Okay. And then... Oh, that's way too big. But you could imagine stretching them out to figure out kind of like what space you would have. You could also do, well, that'd be horizontal layout group to get that. So that's also an option. Doing a horizontal layout group that is itself. One sec. And then you could imagine having... Oh, we're almost there. So you can imagine doing something like this, potentially, where this controls the height and width of the children. And then from there, you just go through and do some shenanigans. Obviously, the number of rooms in each one is too great. But I digress. Okay, so this one's up in the top corner. So we're actually going to control Z a bit. Go back to just that standard grid layout group. Oh, no wonder I was so confused. There you go. And I suppose what could end up happening, if we imagine instead of 8 of them, you only have 4, and you do fixed column count of 2 exactly, and we shrink that over to about halfway. You can just pop that there. And in this situation, how big can these be? $380, $350. Only thing I don't like is that they don't have a start corner middle kind of thing for... Oh, wait. There we go. Cool. Clearly I spoke too soon. So you could imagine having the different cells that you'll be populating like this. And then over here, we would have the room info cell. And so this would be, it would have some kind of image on it. We would want to move it. Roughly speaking, where's this mixing up? 434. $788. $800. It's almost like a Windows logo. There we go. So we don't know yet what kind of data will be on these. We do know that they're going to act like buttons. So for now, we could do that. Let's see, where would... Is debug on here by default, or is it just like send a message? Broadcast message, look at. Because I assume these are event calls. Totally fine, totally fine. But we know that there, or at least we assume, that there will be some kind of button. And this button will dictate what this does. So then we could conceivably think about what the class itself will be for, which is going down here. That seems like a fine name for it. So obviously this is going to need some kind of reference to the room catalog. And what we may do in the catalog is we may set up the catalog to assign the quote-unquote current version or the selected version of its relevant content. But I will need to think about that. That's probably a sleep on it kind of thing. Give me yawning. Clearly I'll be doing that today. And yeah, just to show you, just adding that reference to it. Putting that here. And now that we have access to that, we would have yeah. So we would have the room selection buttons themselves have some kind of class that tells them what their equivalence is, like what they're sending. And then that would get passed through here, where it would find it in the catalog, and it'll likely find it by... Let's go look. Likely find it by theme. So with that in mind, well, it doesn't even have to, actually. So I'm thinking for a moment on the directionality of the data. So a catalog would have the prefab, which is the thing that would be passed around. And it may also have the data. Interesting thought. Well, we'll just keep working through this and see what we need. So first things first, we need to have a list of the objects that we're instantiating. So we need access to the grid layout group. Private grid layout group. Target layout group. Because what we're going to do is we're going to populate the rooms based off some data, and we're going to attach them to that grid layout group, which will then provide us with a direct connection to the content itself. Sounds good so far. Because none of this in particular could exist without any other part of it, without some sort of forethought in the future. But that's for the future, right? Void init. Of course. I should really get around to at least making that an interface of some kind. But I digress. So on the initialization stage for int I equals 0, I is less than room catalog dot products dot count length I plus plus. And so now we need to instantiate something, and that something is going to be these room cells. And to do that, we're going to make them into a prefab. Room cell GUI. And this in particular, once I get this done and figure out what I need in it, this is probably something that can be have some of its logic moved off so that I can make a similar GUI for selecting Moosecats and stuff. But again, we'll work on that as we get there. Drop that in here. Now we go back to our selection code. Private room cell. Whoops. What on earth? What? Oh, there you go. It was just being slow. Now we got our prefab. And we'll say, oh, right. I guess we'll make it a list. Okay, so then down here, room cell GUI prefab equals instantiate. Room cell prefab. Room cells. Dot add prefab. Prefab dot set. Sorry, prefab dot transform dot set. Parent is target layout group. Dot transform. Of course. All right. We don't actually want to add anything yet. We do want to assign the prefab. We want to delete all 4 of these. I'm also going to make a button real quick. Just do this. And now you should see that on the inspector window once I get there. Okay. So we'll hit play. Some stuff will happen in the background, but we're just going to ignore that for now. We'll hit init, and we do see a null reference. Oh, yep, I see why. It apparently didn't stick. Or no, I just assigned the wrong thing to it. There we go. Okay. So we've got our room cell. We do want to make sure that there are 4 because, or at least we need to make an empty version of this for when there aren't enough currently. And that would work because if we were to make those more, yeah. All right. I guess. And then I just need to move it down more. Okay, sure. Okay. So it creates our one cell, which is a button that does a whole lot of nothing right now. And in the background, you can see that I'm raycasting on the playfield. So we're going to want to turn that off for now. That's better. Okay, so we've got our button. Now we need our button to do a thing. So private, selected room, current room. What am I calling that thing? Oh, room variable? Okay. Got that assigned. So when you select, when it's going through and instantiating the prefab rooms, those are based off the catalog. And the catalog currently has the room prefabs. How does it connect those to the data itself? So we think to ourselves, because this is data that is stored when you're saving to so maybe it does actually need to be both. Ah, I see where my brain was breaking here. Okay, we're still fine. So this actually does need to be on the room prefab. And then when the room is assigned, this data needs to be saved here. So that when you're saving, you have this on the comeback for instantiating the correct room. But the prefabs themselves need some kind of identifying mark besides just their visual mesh or something. That's where we goofed here. So the room would want to know what kind it is. Just thinking out loud, as they say. When we instantiate because basically this is the player data. This isn't necessarily a catalog. So maybe these don't need or shouldn't be lists of lists of just prefabs. They should be lists of prefabs that have some kind of enumerable type. Yes. Yes, that is exactly what this should be. Okay. So that would be... Real quick, how is this... I haven't done this in ages. Okay, what do they call this? Multi-typing? Doo-dee-doo. Generics is what I'm looking for. Getting there. Okay, so... Where boop 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 and where... Okay, so that's less weird than I thought. I just figured there'd be some sort of delineator between them. So... This actually needs to be an enum. Will it just let me put enum there? Probably not. So can it even be abstract? Now I gotta think for a moment here. Because basically what I'm thinking is, it's you basically want a key value pair. And... Let's see. Does that require anything? Okay. And then if we save that and we do... And then we'll come back over here. Dot. Do I not have any on them? I don't, actually. Okay, well, let's add something. Public enum testing dummy equals -1. Then we'll go back to this. And then for the rooms catalog, go room data dot theme. Okay, so I'm just curious if this will work. I will be pretty happy if it does. Where are we? It does. Okay. So, obviously this one's only got a dummy in it. Matter of fact, they both only have a dummy in them. Is that all I've made for these? It is. Okay. No panic. No need to panic. All right. So the reason I needed that, if we go back into the code, is, and they're kind of backwards, but basically this is our collection of critters. And this is the identifying piece of information to know which one to grab. There's a few ways we can do it. The easiest is to have the order that the cats, for instance, are in the list be the same, or we'll eventually add this enum in some fashion. So let's see here. If we go back to catalog, it's currently based off of a list. We could probably also make a dictionary that has the key be the type and the result be the product. But I think for now, we're just gonna go back in here. Because now we actually need this. And so when we get room, we're gonna pass through the theme, and we're going to return products int theme. And then for the Moosecat catalog, we'll pass through the breed, and we will return products int breed. Right, so there we go. There we go. You can always solve a problem. So with this information, when we go back to our GUI, let's try naming the object. Prefab.name equals catalog.get dummy. Did I have any kind of naming convention on it? No. Okay. So let's try that out real quick. We'll go back to our scene. Also, I'm really quick. We don't need that test enum in the catalog window anymore. So we'll hit save and play. Init. Oh. Oh, because dummy is -1. Okay. Let's go fix that. Then go into our prefabs. Wait. Go into our data. That's the prefabs. Ooh, thank you. Now we gotta play the thinky game again. Right, this makes sense. Ooh, double thank you. I'm being spoiled. I forgot. I just need to do this. So let's give it a try. Generic room prefab. Hey. So then what we need here is private room data. Wait, room data. Theme. And we're serializing it just so we can see it. Okay. Hmm. All right. Need to make some notes for myself. Okay. So tomorrow, when we go to work on the prefabs a bit, I got this note for myself. Let's slap a big old capital to-do on there. And then here... Perfect. Let's do that. Wait, I'm putting this in the wrong... No, it's the right one. It's just the wrong... There we go. That's what was confusing me. Okay, and then... Normally I wouldn't do this or advise doing it, but screwing around right now before we head off for the day. See how it goes. Hopefully well. Okay, creates our room. Called the generic room. Theme alpha. We click the button. And we do see that it is not... Oh. It's actually not a surprise. Hold on. Try that again. Did I save? Attaching a breakpoint real quick. Interesting. Ah, yeah, it is null. And it is null because... Great question, team. Because we never call the init. Alright. So what we were missing was this line here. I zigged when I should have zagged. There we go. So now the entire body is connected to this. And tomorrow we'll take care of that immutable problem. And once that immutable problem is taken care of, we will be able to trivially find the prefabs in their catalog. And yeah, we'll finish up more of this. Maybe I'll mock up some different rooms. Just make them... We'll have like 4 different rooms just for playtesting this work. And I'll just make them different colors. Easy peasy, you know? And then we'll just need to make the spawner not change the color of them if they are set. In fact, we'll just have it not set the color of them anymore once I do that. And yeah, that'll be it for today, I think. Just did a little bit of UI work. We'll make more of this tomorrow. And, you know, if you watched here, thanks for watching here. Hey, if you're seeing this at some point in the future on YouTube, thanks for watching there, and I hope you have a nice day.